He clipped him with that one on the end of the punch. And that was the big left hook that hurt him. And there's a right hand. And there's a knee. And that's the one that dropped him. Swarms all over him. One more look at that right hand. Very close to stopping the fight right now.
Why he was a champion for a couple of years in the UFC middleweight division. Rich Franklin is a gamer.
Very durable. Man, that was close. Vandalay knows it was close. He knows that he's got a wounded fighter in front of him.
And this time it happens in the second round.
Yeah, so now it's all about waiting for the next opportunity to do that again. Vandalay has a welt on the right side of his body from that body kick by Rich.
And Rich throws a kick again. The conditioning of Franklin has always been off the charts. Thus, his ability to recover is as good as any.
Well, yeah, he's very disciplined, and his conditioning routine that they showed on the countdown shows really opened up a lot of fighters' eyes to what is required of a real championship-level fighter.
I remember watching videos of him working nonstop in the gym on his strength and conditioning for a full hour nonstop.
Yeah,
one rest.
Not just that, but the way he measures his food, and he's very disciplined in all aspects of his training.
As is Vanderlei Silva. He has always prided himself in his conditioning, trained with the mask on a lot.
I don't think that mask is legit.
It is to Vanderlei.
Yeah, I think the hard training pays off, but there's a lot of bunk science behind that.
Yeah, he
plugging your nose stuff.
He thinks it plugs the nose and makes him work on an emptier tank.
I'm no scientist, but from what I've read, it actually might hurt you, because if you breathe more air, you can work harder and push your conditioning more. But I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, I'm not the one to want to argue with Vanderlei about it.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Yes, it does.
Running upstairs with a snorkel on, it's pretty badass.
We have seen both of them just demonstrate what it takes to be a champion.
There's that body kick again.
And Franklin seems recovered now, Joe, and Vanderlei really hasn't attacked yet here in the third.
Yeah, but again, he's like a spring.
Yeah.
He's always ready.
And there's a handful of fighters that we have talked about over the years that are never out of a fight until it's over, and Vanderlei Silva is one of those men.
As is Rich Franklin.
Yeah.
He had his arm broken in the Chuck Liddell fight and caught Chuck with a right hand and knocked him out, and then punched him with his broken arm.
In what was the final fight of the Hall of Famer's career. Lead right hook.
There's a head kick.
The head kick. First fight was 3 rounds. This one is scheduled for 5 rounds. A catch weight of 190. Silva was a millisecond away from evening the score late in the second round. And Rich did a good job of continuing the move, Joe, to demonstrate to Mario Yamasaki that he was trying to intelligently defend himself.
I think when you knock a guy out, it's better than evening the score. When a guy beats you by decision, then you knock him out, you got him.
Fair enough.
Especially if you do it second and he beats you first.
Right.
Vanderlei is surprisingly relaxed in this round and not nearly as aggressive. Good combination right there. Solid jab by Vanderlei. There's that body kick again by Rich.
Does that make you think, Joe, that he's letting Rich Franklin off the hook a bit?
I don't know. He could have burned himself out in that round. That's the thing about going for the knockout. Chael Sonnen was on my podcast recently and said something that is quoted in boxing. When you go for the knockout, if you don't get it, you probably won't win a decision. Rich takes him down.
Keep in mind, no one has attempted a submission in the UFC against Vanderlei. He's never been submitted in his career. Franklin very very underrated on the ground. He was many years with his good friend, probably his best friend, George Gurgel in Cincinnati.
Rich is all over him here, on top.
And some elbows thrown by Franklin.
Massive amounts of scar tissue all over the eyes of Vanderlei Silva, and Rich is trying to cut that open.
Franklin
Big elbows by Rich.
Third round out. After nearly being finished in the second, Franklin pours it on at the end of the third.
Vanderlei might have gassed himself out in that round, Mike. He might have gassed himself out trying to finish Rich because he did not look the same in that round. Strangely passive in that round. It also could be that he took the round off because he knows that this is a 5-round fight and he was very tired from that second round. All right, let's take a look at that. Here's a straight left, clean straight left, goes behind, gets the trip, outside trip, moved in to half guard, drops some big elbows down on him. Big ground and pound by Rich Franklin to end that round.
Here you go, you ready? Are you ready? Let's go, come on! We begin the championship rounds in this 5-round main event. Non-title fight, but scheduled for 5 as our main event. The total strikes after 3 rounds, Joe, identical. 79-79. Significant strikes, 73-75 advantage Franklin. This is such a close fight. Many more ground strikes thrown by Vanderlei. Kicks about the same. Vanderlei's corner saying, all right, you're back. This is your round. Right hand. 37-year-old Rich Franklin against Vanderlei Silva, who will turn 36 on July 3rd. Amazingly, he went unbeaten in 18 fights from 2000 to 2004 during his days in Pride as the Pride middleweight champion. What a glorious run that was. Pride records of 22 wins, 15 knockouts, and the aforementioned winning streak.
But that style was very costly. I mean, Vanderlei had to have reconstructive face surgery because his nose was so smashed in, he couldn't breathe out of it, and the scar tissue over his eyes was so heavy that his eyes were constantly swelling and he would get cut very easily. And that was because of that wild, reckless style. But it made it so exciting to watch his fights.
Franklin, he has had 10 fights against men who have been UFC or Pride champions. This is the second one with Vanderlei Silva, so make it 11 now, and the second with Vanderlei. Richard Henderson, Belfort,
Richards has thrown a lot of jabs, Mike, and he keeps picking that left heel up off the ground, which leads me to believe that he's looking to power that left kick in again. Mitch always moves on his toes, not a flat-footed fighter, but it looks to me like he's had some, good fade, that very nice right hook there, stepped in.
Very comfortable in throwing that, and highly effective. Midway point of the fourth.
Well, I think he's realized that Vanderlei has slowed down quite a bit, and it could very well be because of that barrage at the end of the second round.
Which would be somewhat uncharacteristic for Vanderlei, speaking of his conditioning in the past.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You have a wild sprint like that. A wild sprint like that just costs you. You know, the truth is that human beings are not meant to fight for 25 minutes.
Right.
And fighting for 5-minute rounds, you have to pace yourself.
Plus the emotion, Joe, of fighting at home for the first time in a dozen years.
And, you know, we saw, look, Shane Carwin's a guy who's always in great shape. We saw what happened with him and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That first round, he tried to finish him on the ground, went all out, and just had nothing in the second. That is just the way of fighting. If a guy survives that barrage and you punch a lot of elbows and forearms and you don't quite do the damage that you needed to do, but you burn your arms out, then you start that next round and you got lead in your legs. I mean, you see right now, Vanderlei's trying to connect. I mean, it's possible that he could still recover, but he certainly looks slower.
It would seem unlikely that he's saving it for the 5th and final round. But we'll tell if we get there, right? You don't want to give away 2 rounds.
So Rich looks great.
Yep.
Good. Oh, no. And that was a bad one. That was a bad one. Come on. Here we go. How many of these have we seen tonight?
Too many.
Shazam, son. You look at his face. It says it all. Oh, and that was not like a toe. That was all shin, foot. What is he doing? What's going on there?
You think I have the answer?
I'm just hoping we can keep this conversation going.
Do we want to? I do. Weather here's been great. So
yeah,
you want to be an ultimate fighter.
That was the thing they always used to tell you in kickboxing when you get hit to jump up on your heels, but it never made me feel any better. I think it's just to take your eyes off or your mind off the fact that you just got kicked in the balls. Now he's doing sumo exercises. He's gonna just tough it out. Man. Ready? That's a terrible feeling, folks. If you've never been hit there, well, if you've never been hit there, you're probably not a boy.
Yeah, and don't try at home. Just over a minute left, so...
What a stupid design by Mother Nature.
Yeah, unintentional as it was, Joe, that gave Vanderlei a little time to rest while Rich was recovering.
Look at Rich, Muhammad Ali style.
Rich is just evolved in front of our eyes.
Good combo right there.
Remember that. His highlight reel knockout was the straight left of Nate Quarry back in Miami many years ago.
That was just straight nasty.
Back in November of 05.
There's that body kick by Rich again, but Vanderlei countered with a right hand.
That was in Franklin's first defense of his middleweight championship. Final 15 seconds of the 4th round. All Franklin in the 3rd and 4th after Vanderlei almost finished the fight in the 2nd. Vanderlei pushing forward at the end of the round.
I just got sweat in my mouth. Sprayed off them. They're right. They fought right next to us.
For those who say we have the best seat in the house.
Where am I? Still the best seat. I'll take it.
Champion against champion. The former UFC middleweight champion, the former champion. The final round of the rematch. I have a feeling Franklin's going to need to weather another storm. How much of a storm Vanderlei has left is yet to be determined.
Yeah, if he's got it in him, he's going to bleed it out right now.
There's no question. He will leave it in the octagon.
No question.
And Franklin is well aware of that fact. Big swing and a miss. Franklin's using good head feints prior to his punches. Dancing around. The jab. The work that Rob Radford has done with his boxing, Neil Rowe with his Muay Thai is so visible here tonight.
Good straight left.
Under 4 minutes remain in this fight, our main event of the evening. First fight at home in 12 years for Silva. He wants to leave the victor. Franklin stole the show in Germany. Can he steal it tonight in his native land? The counter by Vanderlei. Arms are heavy here. Franklin set a UFC middleweight record with 127 strikes in his title defense against David Loiseau years ago.
And I believe he fought most of that fight with a broken hand.
Yep. He's at 102 right now for total strikes. Significant strikes, almost at 100 for Franklin. And we term those significant strikes as one that do damage. You know the tornado's coming. You just want to keep moving and keep picking them apart in the process.
This is one of the fights where you see the most footwork from Rich Franklin. I'm trying to think of a fight where he moved so well.
There you see the total strikes updated and the head strikes very even. To the body. We're past the midway point of the 5th and final round.
Stiff jab by Franklin. Vanderlei's got it in him. Now's the time to hit the gas. Good left-right by Franklin.
Under 2 minutes remain in this fight. Franklin with the left. Leads with the jab once again. Vanderlei Silva, Rich Franklin. This battle of former champions. It's a coming. 140 left. When Vanderlei explodes wildly, if he has the energy to do it, Franklin looks up at the clock. Franklin could actually finish this fight. Silva pushed forward momentarily. Franklin with that footwork.
You can see Vanderlei gearing up for a big finish.
Yep. Yep.
That's it.
1 minute left. Again with the right. Silva trying to force the action late. Rich wisely circling away from the powerful right hand of Silva. 40 seconds. Vanderlei the big swing. 30 seconds. Franklin snuck a look up at the clock. 20 seconds. 15. 10. Silva with a right hand. Oh! Swinging wildly to the finish. Vanderlei Rich had his end. The very end. Rich caught him with a straight left. Joe, I had said earlier, Rich might catch Vanderlei when he goes berserker on him late, and he did. Wow. Right as the horn sounded.
There's that right hand counter. That's early in the first round. And the second was where Vanderlei hurt Rich. And there it is. There's the right hand that dropped him. And there is the big swarm of punches as he tried to finish. And Rich gamely hung in there. And there's round 3. Straight left by Rich, followed by a body lock and an outside trip. Takes him down, ground and pound by Rich Franklin. Round 4 was Rich Franklin boxing. Moving, shooting that stiff jab and a straight left. And the 5th and final round ended with a wild barrage by both fighters. Vanderlei landed that counter hook, and this is the end. Look at this wild exchange. And there's the left hand that hurt him.
That man is the king of MMA from the Green City, Rich Franklin. Bruce Buffer has our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 49-46, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Rich Ace